Hi there, it's Dave with House Flipping Spreadsheet, and this is a quick tutorial on how to set up the financing costs when you're analyzing a rehab deal. So I'm currently on the Rehab Analyzer. This is the overall dashboard that you can use to analyze a rehab deal and determine the maximum purchase price that you should offer for the property. And one of the items that you'll want to set up is your financing costs. So you'll see you've got your financing costs in the bottom left hand corner here, and you'll see a little tab over on the left hand side. And that tab is a setup tab that will take you to the financing setup sheet page. So on the financing setup sheet page, you've got a couple different funding strategies that you can use to fund your rehabs. The first one is all cash. So if you're just going to be funding the flip yourself, that would just be an all cash scenario where you're bringing all the cash to the table to fund the project. The next one is going to be debt. So debt is going to be if you're getting a loan for funding the rehab, funding the purchase, funding the repairs, you can get a loan for the project. So I'm just going to show you how you can set up a loan scenario for your project here. So once you select the debt to loan option, it'll ask you how many loans will be required to finance the project. So you've got up to two different options here. You can have one loan or you can have two loans. I'm just going to set up one loan here. And then once you set up that first loan, it will open up your additional options for setting up the loan information here. So at the top, you've got all of your different loan values. So these loan values are based upon the values on the Rehab Analyzer. So the purchase price, your repair costs, your purchase and repairs, or all project costs, or ARV. So all of these values match what's currently going on our Rehab Analyzer tool. So you can see right now our recommended maximum purchase price is $57,000. We've got repairs of $63,000 and our after repair value is $165,000. If we go back to the rehab financing setup sheet, you'll see that those values are feeding over here to these loan values. So you can just click on these. If you wanted to just get a loan for the purchase price only, you could select that option. If you're just going to get a loan for the repair costs, you could select that option. Purchase and repairs, all project costs. So this is going to be your purchase plus your repairs plus your buying costs and holding costs. And then after repair value is a loan value based upon the after repair value of the property. And then you can just input a specific loan amount. So if you just wanted to get a loan of, let's say, $100,000, you could just select specific loan amount and then type that value in here. Next, you're going to want to set up the length of the loan payment. So this is the number of payments that you're going to be making on the loan. So generally it might be around six months. It could be a full year. So this is the number of payments that you're going to be making. This isn't not the amortization of the loan. This is just the number of payments that you're going to be making. Next, you're going to set up whether there's a down payment or maybe your lender's lending based upon a loan to value ratio. So let's say that we are going to get a loan for, let's select after repair value up here. So we're getting a loan for the after repair value, and let's say the lender is lending at 70% of the ARV. So you can see we've got basically a $49,000 reduction for that 30% that we are not getting loaned for. So that brings our loan balance down to $115,000. So basically $115,000 is 70% of the after repair value. Then you can set up your interest rate, and these interest payments can be made monthly, so monthly during the rehab, or they can be rolled and basically paid in the back end when you go to sell the property. Same thing with lender points. You can set up points to be paid up front, or you can roll those on the back end and basically pay those when you go to sell the property on the back end. Once you set all of this information up, this will feed down to your project capital results section. So basically it's showing that right now on this project we need $129,000 in capital. So that's going to cover your purchase, your buying costs, your repair costs, your holding costs. So that's all of those costs are going to be $129,000 on the project. So we need $129,000 to fund this deal. So right now we're only receiving $115,000 from our lender. So remember, we're doing 70% of the ARV, which is $115,000. So we've got $115,000 there. $129,000 minus the loan that we're getting of $115,000 means that we're going to have to bring $13,900 to the table. So we're going to have to invest $13,900 $900 of our own cash into this deal. And then, so that's a breakdown of what kind of capital breakdown is going to be. So how much capital you need, how much funding you're getting, and how much cash you're going to have to bring to the table. And then it also breaks down your total financing cost down here at the bottom. So basically, loan one, we're paying $13,000 in interest, $2,000 in points up front. So our total financing costs are $16,000 for this loan. And it's going to show you've got loan two, your equity, everything else, but we're not doing that in this scenario here. So if we go back to the rehab analyzer, these values should feed over to the financing cost section. So you can see we've got closing costs in points of $2,300 and our loan payments of $13,000 for a total financing cost of $16,000. So that's how you can set up a loan. Now I'm going to show you how you can set up your equity or profit share on the deal. So equity or profit share is basically if you have somebody who's going to give you some money, but in exchange, instead of getting interest, they are going to get a share of the profits in the deal. So let's say that we have Larry, the investor. He's going to invest $100,000 in our deal, and we're going to give him 25% of the profit share. So currently our project profit is $24,000. So if you go back to the rehab analyzer, we've got $24,000 in profit here. So Larry is going to get $6,187 of the profit. So that leaves $18,000 in profit for us. So you could kind of build an entire schedule here. So let's say you kind of crowdfunded the investment for this project, and you had a bunch of people that were investing in this deal. You could basically just lay this all out, input the amount that's being invested by the other investors, the equity investors, and then you could input the profit share here, and it'll calculate what the profit amount is that they're going to be entitled to, and then it'll calculate what the net profit is that you're going to earn on the project. So again, once you set that information up, it'll show you your cash investment. So again, we need $129,000. We're getting $100,000 in equity, so we're going to have to bring $29,000 of our own cash to this deal to pay for the balance of $29,000. And then you've got your financing costs here. So basically the profit split is considered a financing cost. You're basically sharing just the profit in the deal with them. So we've got $6,000 in financing costs for the profit share. So let's say that you wanted to do kind of a hybrid. What if you wanted to get a loan and you wanted to do an equity profit share? Well, that's where the combo option comes into play. So basically when you select combo, you can set up a loan and you can set up your equity. So how many loans will be required to finance the projects? Let's say we've got that one loan again. So in this scenario, let's say that we have an investor that's going to basically lend for the purchase price. So we've got a loan for $56,000 here, and then we've got a loan, let's see, we've got another loan, let's say for maybe $80,000. So now we've kind of got a hybrid funding scenario where we have somebody funding the purchase price, and then we have somebody adding in another additional $80,000, which should roughly cover all of our project costs here. So if we go down, so we've got $129,000 in capital needed. We've got an initial loan of $39,000, which is the person that's investing in the loan. Let's change that up here so they're not lending at a loan to value. Let's say that they're lending it to 100% of the purchase price. So now that we've changed that, it should be around $54,000. And then we've got outside equity of $80,000, so 54 plus 80. So it looks like in this scenario we're actually overcapitalized by $4,800. So in this scenario we only needed $129,000, but in this scenario we're at about $134,000. So we're actually overcapitalized. So we've got $4,800 more dollars than we actually need in this scenario. But you can see this is kind of a capital breakdown here. So we're getting debt financing of $54,000, we're getting equity financing of $80,000, and then we are basically overcapitalized by $4,800. And then this is another breakdown of all of your financing costs. So our loan is costing us $7,500. Our equity investor profit splits costing us $6,100. So our total financing costs are about $13,000. So that's how you can set up all of your financing information on the financing setup sheet. Again, all of that information feeds back over to the rehab analyzer tool, which you can use to calculate the maximum purchase price that you should offer for a property. If you have any other questions or anything, please let me know. Thanks.